and we're coming to you live. Hopefully we're coming to you live. Of course, I'm not getting any indication that we're live yet.
We'll get one here.
Okay, we are live. We are live. We are live. So if you give me a second, we're gonna share over to the watch. Ooh, sharing over there. You know what? We can probably share to the Bleecker group. Where else can we go? Lake Harding, Opelika. Well, we won't go all that, but anyway.
Welcome everybody to the watch. I can find us on here.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong page. That's what it is. Hope everybody's having a great day. It's Wednesday, the 25th of, what is it, the 25th of October. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm all excited. I'm trying to work out, my Halloween costume this year.
I think I'm going to go. Yes, I'm going to treat
Please announce my show. Okay, Lakeisha, are you out there? I'm officially announcing the show, Lakeisha.
All right. Okay, I see it. There we go. Yeah, we look good there.
Matthew McCall said, "Good day, everyone."
And you got to talk into the microphone.
Good day there, Matthew.
Let's try it again.
We are still trying to...
Matthew McCall said, "Good day, everyone."
Good day. How y'all doing? All right, there we go. All right. All right, I hope everybody's having a great day. I think, there we go. I'm trying to put this down here, everybody can see my face a little bit better.
The thing you have to understand is we're doing this from one page, sharing it over to another page so that it can be shared and stuff.
And you're looking at the production crew, producer, director, staff, garbage collector, you name it. Because we got it. So, but hey, I hope everybody's having a great day. Miss Patty, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, thank you.
Welcome. And are the phone lines open?
Check. They are open.
All right, 706-940-0541. 706-940-0541. And I hope everybody's out there. Okay, let's see.
Hey, we got this guy named Joe Coley watching.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
I'm going to share mine to everybody here. All right.
So, folks, I guess we're going to start out the show talking about something that's near and dear to our heart. But for the people that didn't catch my post the other day, went down into the neighborhood there where the latest killing has taken place. And basically, I don't guess this is a knock on the media or anything, but there's not a whole lot of information other than a young man was shot in the back several times, or shot several times, and some of which were in the back, and he was found in a backyard over there, I think, 1200 block of 41st Street. Just off of Young Avenue, okay, and nothing. I guess in the day, Young Avenue was probably a great neighborhood, but here it is in 2017. Young Avenue it's rough. I went down there and talked to some residents and people in the area. I spent probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours down there, and what I was told was just blew my mind. All right, I'm going to pass this on to you. You haven't heard this from anybody in the media because when I was down there, other than I guess some footage or something that was shot early in the morning or whatever, and maybe some footage I understand is being shot by WLTZ, and Miss Robbie Watson is possibly doing a story on this. But what you're not getting is this is an area of Columbus where drugs and juveniles have basically at nighttime as the sun goes down have taken over the area, okay? And for the people that live in that area, they know what I'm talking about, For other people in the city, you probably don't have any kind of a clue. Anyway, I'm told that there's drug house after drug house after drug house. I've talked to sources in the Columbus Police Department that told me, people had to go in recently and take a guy down that was in a drug house in that very same area where this young man was killed, and they had to go in there while he was armed with a shotgun, supposedly, threatening bodily harm on police officers or anybody that came in the house or whatever. I don't have all the details of that. All I can tell you is, being in that area, I got the same type of veteran feeling, like I was driving down a street at somewhere in freaking Iraq or in some of the African countries or something I've been in, where it's not really safe to be in some areas, where you're not in the right area, where everybody knows that you don't belong there and you shouldn't be in those areas. And is that some kind of dig on the people that live there? No. I'm just saying that the houses are in such bad shape that some of these houses are falling in. Some of them are abandoned. And
can I just interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say hi to my daughter, Christy. She's watching. Christy, hi, baby. I love you. And she's in there. And Mom, you can say hi to her.
Hi, Christy. Now, I also want to say hi to Lynn. And Lynn says they will not tell you anything. I guess she's speaking about police officers.
Well, I don't know, because I spent an hour and a half down there, and I talked to a couple people, and they were willing to tell me, answer all the questions that I had, and basically they told me this: this area is full of drug houses, full of people, either selling drugs or on drugs. We got juveniles walking around in not broad daylight, but in the evening hours, openly carrying guns. And the houses, some of these houses are in bad shape. So the idea that I'm trying to get across to you is that somebody in the city told me that there's city agencies that should be going into these neighborhoods and looking at these homes and saying these are not up to standard. This is a slum. This is a dilapidated house. This is I don't know how else to describe it. It's a heap of nothing. Nobody should have to live in a house like that.
Well, also too here, and I'm not, getting into already starting to point fingers or say who should do or should do. But I think one of the things that we've been hearing is people been saying, hey, what can we do? I've been hearing that a lot. I get
right.
That. Well, the Columbus City Council has the authority to condemn any property in Muskogee County. They can stop it. They can have the police over there. They can have the city inspector over there. They can lock the doors. They can put a padlock on it. The Columbus City Council has the authority to do that. And what it is we got a bunch of lazy, people that are sitting around saying, unless it directly affects me, I'm not concerned. And and I got to point finger at all of us too, because we're not going down to the council, we're not calling our council, and we're not holding them responsible. And we need to hold them responsible. That we've got council people that are running for. One of them's going to run for mayor right now.
I don't think it goes to the city council yet, though. I think there are city agencies that their job
is
to go out. Yeah, okay.
But it could.
But there are city agencies that their job is to go through neighborhoods and inspect and say this house is up to standard, or nobody should be living in this house. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't believe me, if you think I'm blowing smoke up your fourth point of contact, take a ride down Earline Avenue or take a ride down Young Avenue or some of those other streets over there, especially Young, and look at and that's not the only section of town. I'm not saying that's the only one, but there are sections in town where these structures should have been condemned a long time ago, and nobody should be forced to either pay rent to live in there or be forced to squat in there or whatever they're doing. I've been told there's a lot of squatters, a lot of little juveniles that use these houses either to sell drugs or hang out in as little clubhouses or something like Spanky and the rest of the guys used to do back in the day. They got a little clubhouse, and it's not their property. I've been told that some of the records, they may not know who owns the property, and that might be part of the problem. But the problem is, what I'm bringing up is, there's somebody in the city whose job is to ride around and look at some of this stuff.
I get a little bit more direct on there. You know what the problem is, and I'll point some fingers. If I have to point some fingers, I'll point some fingers to get this. Because my children, my grandchildren live here, and I'm sorry, I'm getting old and crotchety, and I'm getting tired of people not doing anything, is that you're exactly right. What the issue is, just like off of Victory Drive, Victory Trailer Park back there, Victory Trailer Park has an average of something like 5 to 10 calls a weekend on each day, Friday and Saturday. It's not the police's fault on that. It's a slum bit over there. And you know what? Go look, and you'll find out who owns that trailer park. That trailer park goes back to some prominent families in Columbus, Georgia, who have realty companies that own that. and they're getting money from that. And you know what? If I'm wrong, come on here and tell me. Okay, show it, because I know I'm right, because I've gone down there and found out and looked. And am I angry about that? I'm darn angry about that, because I know that the city has gone down and they run around a little group with their, like, chasing their tails, and they go down there and they go, oh, you know what? I didn't realize that he or she owned that property. So we can't condemn that property because he or she is some prominent family. Well, I'm a prominent family. Not really. I'm a prominent family that I've been living here all my life, and so is my wife. That makes us part of this community. And I'm absolutely sick of this. That this is a money motivated industry, and that's why so many places. Why do you think so many places that on Victory Drive we used to have the plethora of nudie bars and stuff like that? Why they weren't? Why do we have those? How come they're not getting closed down? Because you know what? When they went back and found out, well, that building is owned by this company, that's owned by this company, that's owned by this company. When it got all the way to the top, it was some respectable Columbus citizen. On that. And that's what it is. It's called money, M-O-N-E-Y. It's called revenue on that. And so because that's a great question, Eric. Why in the world? Because you know what? I'll tell you what, I guarantee you the police officers are more pro law enforcement. Because if they had their way, they'd bulldoze all of them on that. But I guarantee you, we know where the gang activity is. We know where the drug houses are. We know. And you know what? There's a lot of stuff. And even if we don't have, of course we have to have probable cause, all that kind of good stuff, which is important, and I agree with it, to make arrests on that. We don't have to have probable cause if it's a dilapidated crack house or something like that. And then what did the city do? The city went out and bought, what they buy, about 15 little junky little crack houses, and they moved them over there to by the jail, and then re-get them and spent a fortune on that, and then put them out as low-income housing, and nobody who wants to live right behind the jail on that, so it's money, Eric. That's what it is.
We've had several comments. Lynn said there is no right area in Columbus now. Then she said the media was the one that was not giving out all the information. Wanda said Columbus needs a cleanup like Phoenix City got in the 50s. Thank you, Danny, for watching. We appreciate you. Lynn said, control your children. Whoop their behinds. Children need curfews. And
Well,
Todd said he loves you, Eric.
Yeah, I know how much Todd loves me.
Yeah.
And
My little Cajun buddy down there in New Orleans.
But see,
Kimberly said that, is this a podcast too? And then Janice said, I agree. Parents, schools, and public officials do not want to step up.
Well, here's the problem, and I saw it when I went down into the neighborhood yesterday. The problem is the poor guy that's living down there said, 80% of the neighborhood's on drugs. So what are you going to do? If you got 80% of the neighborhood on drugs, do you really think they're going to form a neighborhood watch and cooperate with the police? And it's like we've said, you've got to have a community, or you've got to have a neighborhood that's willing to stand up and say no to this stuff. But even if it was 50% of the neighborhood is either using or selling drugs, you're not going to have a whole lot of success, and the police aren't going to have a whole lot of success. So I don't know what the answer is on that. The gentleman that I was talking to said that one elderly lady that lived down at the end of Erline Avenue, I think it's Erline or Erline Avenue, said she just gave up. She found a house, and either bought a house or was renting a house over off of Somerville Road in Phoenix City, because she said she'd had enough. Another lady said she had lived out on, I can't remember what the street is, but it's the closest street out that's right next to Veterans, or 4th Avenue, however you want to call it, 4th Avenue Veterans. And she said that, she'd lived there all her life with her family, and the neighborhood was just so bad that she was thinking about just popping smoke and getting out of there and going somewhere else. She said there was an apartment complex that was like right stone's throw away, that, activity about when the sun goes down, all kinds of cars just coming and going. Every 30 seconds, minute and a half, boom, they come in, they run into the apartments, they come back out. People told me that there's like single ladies walking the streets, you know, in the evening time, juveniles openly carrying guns, and you know, I don't know what this. I don't know what it. You know what is. To me, being an ex-military guy, yeah, it's going to take maybe the National Guard coming in or something, or some kind of.
Well, see, that's the point, Eric. Is what we're telling our government, our local government. If you can't handle it, then call the governor.
Yeah.
Call the governor. Call the governor of Georgia and someone say we can't handle it. We need National Guard down here. Then bring National Guard down here. So bring Georgia Patrol down here. Bring Georgia State Patrol. Bring the GBI in here. But you know, why are they not doing that? If you can't handle it, God love you.
Now, what I've noticed is that the voices of the community from different groups and stuff and different people are being heard. I saw a post yesterday that said, you know, well, you people that are posting these memes and making these little pictures, that you guys are lame and you're a bunch of hacks and you're not doing anything. Oh, no. Let me tell you. These little comical videos that have been made, these little memes that have been made about the mayor and stuff, they are being heard.
Oh, they're being heard.
And they're being felt. And that's why all of a sudden you've seen an influx of arrests and groups of 12, 18, whatever.
You got to ask yourself, Eric. You got to ask yourself, what happened? Something happened, didn't it? Because a month ago, the mayor and the people of the government, our local government, was saying there's no gangs, there's no where crime is lower than it was in 2013, and it's not that bad. And then all of a sudden now we have we had a major gang and drug problem in Columbus. So something happened.
Oh yeah.
Either they woke up and went, wow, Jesus, I'm in a whole different city.
You have these people that come to these pages and try and shame you into not speaking out, and that's just an old tactic. You saw it in in everything that's been going on in the last 2 or 3 years. Last 2 or 3 years in politics, they have these people. They'll try and label you this. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You're this. You're that. You're with the KKK. You know, whatever. Okay. Continue to speak out. Continue to talk to your neighbor at church. Continue to talk to your coworkers. I'm seeing it right now in the political race over in Alabama for the Senate seat between Judge Roy Moore and this other guy. Millions of dollars. I told you this. Millions and millions of dollars came from Washington, D.C. to try and trash Judge Roy Moore. Okay? And he still won the runoff because the people of Alabama said they support him. Okay?
Welcome, Mark Cantrell. Welcome, Diane Pope.
And now,
welcome, Tom.
You don't see any support for the Republican candidate out of Washington. They're not spending the millions for him. They're letting him stand on his own. That's okay. The people of Alabama are still here. But what's amazing is that if you comment on any of these public sites or anything, these far left Democratic people are losing their minds. I mean, I had a guy that came after me and stalked my Facebook page, which I could care less, but found my public posts and tried to shame me by calling me a homosexual.
What was the deal with that?
We're going to post pictures of you because you're a homosexual and you and your boyfriend are doing nasty things online. Okay, well, if you can find a picture of my boyfriend out there, please post it, okay? Because anybody that has known me since I joined the military back in 1980 knows that that's a bunch of crap.
But you know what? We're here to say that we I think we're talking to thousands of people. We support our law enforcement, our officers. We support our teachers. And you know what? You can't pee on somebody's back and say, hey, it's raining on that. And that's what it is that parents are not being held responsible for kids in school. Parents are not being held responsible for their kids out committing crime. I see this stuff on the paper about I think there was actually a gamer that was 12 years old. Where's their parent? All right, they have some biological parents, whether or not they're married or not, I don't know. But what about that? What about charging them? What about arresting them and putting their hiney in the lockup, the Gray Bar Hotel, and saying, you will be held responsible for your children? I grew up in the military, and I'm a Southerner, I'm a native Georgian, but I'm going to tell you something, I grew up in the military, that's why I don't have a big Southern accent, but I'm going to tell you something, you know what? When we grew up in the military, when we lived on base, my father was held responsible if our yard wasn't cut.
Oh yeah.
And they came in, and if we were caught on the street riding down our bicycle and we did something we weren't going to do, you know who got called? Our father got called. And our father had to go before his commanding officer the next day, and they didn't say why did this happen. Let's make this up. But if Joe did something that was like, why did you let your son do something? I'm holding you responsible.
And here's what everybody in the military knows: that if you live on post and you can't follow the rules, guess what? You get a warning or 2 warnings or 3 warnings, about some stuff. But if you can't adhere to regulations on post, they boot your post. You go live off post.
And you know what I hear about? You know what I hear from parents, especially with the school district. All I hear when I hear from parents is, "Oh, we're going to sue the school board. We're going to sue the city because we're not getting it." Well, you know what? Come on, we're going to sue you.
I've seen this, and I don't want to get into because if we start talking about the school board, that'll be the rest of the show right there. That's all we'll be talking about the school board next week. But what I find amazing is that someone tried to incorporate, or not incorporate, it's not the right word. They tried to interdict or bring in, or anyway, I'm trying. I can't think of the right word. It's back in the back of my brain. But they tried to. I wish I could think of the word. I can't do it. I can't think of it. But anyway, in other words, they tried to pull this thing out of the hat about. And I wish Mr. Myers or Mr. Thomas was here. They could talk about it. But they tried to bring out this phrase of lawyer-client privilege, attorney-client privilege. That, what is talked about in back the rooms, no one is allowed to. Wrong. I say that's wrong. I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Thank you, Lynn.
But if you're on the group of people that have hired the lawyer, okay, and he's discussing something with you, it's up to you whether you want to discuss it or not.
Exactly.
So it's just the little tricks that people try and portray on this stuff. This. I'll let you talk about lawyer-client privilege, but if you're the person that has hired the lawyer and the lawyer is there to advise you, okay, you have every right to talk about something, in my opinion. I don't think a lawyer can say, well, you talked to me about this, so you can't disclose any of this stuff. I think only a judge can say that.
It gets back. You see the American flag behind us? You see the cross back there? You know what? That gets back to, I'm not getting into that, but it gets like, I'm going to tell you something. A couple of years ago, in the ministry, Chappell Warriors Ministry, one of our sister groups that we work with on that, is, we had the Freedom from Religion Foundation come down here and scare everybody. And
all 2 of them?
Yeah. We're gonna sue the city of Columbus. If you don't do this, if you don't take that cross in Heath Lake Park down, we're gonna sue you. You know what we told them? We said, come on, we got lawyers. We'll raise money if we have to get more lawyers. I said, we'll counter sue you. And guess what happened? They went away. It all of a sudden just stopped. And just stop, because you know what? It's just like that in the school board or on the city. When these low-life come up there, and there are some legitimate cases. I'm not saying that there's not, Eric. There are some legitimate cases that I feel good. But there's a lot of people out there. They're just out there running. They're chasing the ambulance out there. And you know what? I don't know about y'all. I pay property tax. And I think 60% of that goes to the school board. Take some of the little bit that I pay, which is a lot to me on that, and put that in a lawyer's fund to countersue these people that are ruining our school district, and go up to these parents when these kids, these gang members, are arrested. Go right over, and I don't care, and it doesn't matter. And don't listen to, well, I didn't know. You know what, Eric? I can tell you one thing that you and I remember from law enforcement.
What's that?
That I'll tell you. You see a lot of stuff on TV about policing and about the courts. Well, I'll tell you one thing on TV that you hear that is true. It is true. They will say to you in the court, the judge will say this line to you: ignorance is no excuse of the law. So you can't sit there and say, well, I didn't know that little Johnny Jr. was out there doing all that, so I shouldn't be held responsible. Tough. You are responsible. You made the baby. That's it. Too bad. And you know what? Don't cry about it. But that's right. And we need to get them too. Jail's too easy. We need to fine them. That's what you get them where the pocketbook is. You sit there and say, well, I don't have no money. Do you have a car? You have yours? Well, yeah, but it's ours now. It's the city of Columbus. We'll sell it on the steps of the courthouse. Well, are these drastic measures?
No, they're not
drastic. Well, some of them are.
Well,
but this is drastic time.
Yeah.
By the way, what do we have? We have our 35th murder? 35?
Well, it depends on how you count it. If it's a Wednesday and
they're somewhat dead.
You're talking to the mayor, then it's there's only so many homicides and so many murders, and then if you talk to the coroner, he counts them all as
Hey,
being
Susan.
basically dead.
Well, the good news is this for everybody. We have new administrations that are going to be coming in next year. We have new administrations. We have a new chance, a new beginning, like what we do. So we need to just realize, hey, it's not going to be like this, but it's a serious time.
Yeah.
And we need.
Well,
to take
I tell you what,
time.
I'd like to ask right now, anybody
Hey,
that's
Valerie.
listening out there, who is the city council member that's responsible for the veterans Wilson Apartments / Earlene Avenue, Young Avenue, 42nd Street, 43rd Street, 41st Street? Whose area is that?
Well, we have a couple at large on that.
Oh,
which is
okay.
everybody.
Is that an at-large area?
On that, yeah, which is the whole city.
Okay.
On that,
Lynn
I
says
think that's District 1. I believe that's Council Woodson, I believe.
Lynn says parents should be responsible. Find them. I have to go to Auburn to shop because I will not cross the river.
Well, I mean,
And Jeff says hello.
Jeff says hello.
Jeff, hey Jeff, how are you?
Jeff who? Jeff who?
Jeff, great.
He's got a lot of last
On
names
that.
in there.
But you know what you said though, Eric, is that I think the big thing, and this is what. And by the way, 706-940-0541, 706-940-0541. Give us a call if you want. If you got something you want to say on the air, if you want to just tell Pat and she'll tell us, we can do that. But you know what? United we stand. Let's make America great again. You know what? That sounds like some trouble. Yes, that's the President of the United States, people.
You're gonna upset some
I voted for him.
Hillary supporters.
I did. I voted for Trump.
I did too.
I'd vote for him again today on that. And he is the President of the United States on that. But anyway, getting back to what we're saying, is I think, Eric, the number one thing here that I keep hearing, and you'll interact on the computer here. What we keep hearing is people were saying, let's do something. What can we do?
Well, citizens, if you're living in a neighborhood, you are going to have to get off your butt and do something to protect your neighborhood. Plain and simple. But like this neighborhood over there, if 50% of your neighborhood is doing drugs, you got a fight on your hands, and I don't know what the right answer is, but somebody's got to stand up in that neighborhood.
By the way, FYI for everybody, we are on YouTube simultaneously, and those are saved. So you can go to the Valley Watch on YouTube, and these are already their indexed.
Yeah, I think you can share that.
And you can share it. And, like that. And Eric, you said another point too. Guess what, everybody? Hey, we got to start thinking a little bit outside the box in the sense that, what, Eric, if somebody's over in Smith Station or Bleecker Junction or Phoenix City or Auburn, that's part of the Chattahoochee Valley. And what happens across the river is as applicable to over here in Columbus, Georgia, as anything. I mean, we can't pretend there's some invisible line and like, well, what happens over there in Russell Lee County, that doesn't have anything to do with us. Yes, it does. And the entire valley, Hamilton, out to Talbot County, to Chattahoochee County. But you know what? Hey, Valerie just turned in. You guys, she says, can you kind of...
I can do it real quick. Basically, we talked about the latest murder. We talked about the neighborhood, the problem that the people in the neighborhood said there's nothing but drug houses in the Young Avenue, Earlene Avenue, off of Veterans.
And there's no
just before you get to Manchester, basically the area in behind the Walmart over there off of Manchester, over there in that area. And there's been other problems over there. Prostitutes, juveniles carrying guns at night. There was a high speed. Most people didn't. It wasn't even reported. There was a high speed chase on Earlene Avenue several hours before the shooting took place of this young man. I don't think it had anything to do with it, but police were on Earlene Avenue and a car drove up into somebody's yard or took out their mailbox. He got out, ran, was trying to hide in the backyard or in the back area over there. And I think they got him. Details on that were a little sketchy. But basically, we're talking about if these areas are allowed to decline to the point where they're like a slum, and nobody's responsible for the property and people are living. I mean, I had one police officer yesterday tell me that they said some of the most dangerous stuff you're doing is going into these houses where nobody should be living, and there's all kinds of bacteria and God knows what, and drug needles and all this other stuff that you're going to catch something that you can't get off with Ajax and Clorox bleach. And he said, this is more dangerous to you than being, arresting an AIDS patient or something, and being spit on or something. And it was concerning to him. And what I'm saying is, if we've got areas that are dilapidated that much, somebody's got to start doing something about it. Now, it was brought up to me by somebody yesterday that Phoenix City does. If you have a home, you get so many chances or so many warnings, and then they go in and they tear down the structure. They go in with a construction company, they bid it out, they tear it down, and guess what? The property owner gets a bill. Now, why isn't that happening in Columbus? I don't know. There is a theory out there that some of these areas are being allowed. It's a plan. Let's let these areas go straight to hell, and the property values will go straight to hell, and then somebody will go in and buy up the land cheap, and then we can come in and redevelop it. I'm not going to go there because I didn't bring any tinfoil to wrap around my head, because I guarantee you when I start talking about that, somebody's going to say, oh, this guy's a nut job. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's up there. He's going to want to know who shot Kennedy and all this stuff. Whatever. There's areas in Columbus that you cannot deny at one time. You go back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, were the show places of Columbus where everybody wanted to live. And as these areas got run down, people moved away from them and kept going north. They kept going north, away from Fort Benning, well, guess what? You pushed everything in Muskogee County all the way to Harris County and whatever's north of Harris. There's no more pushing out of Muskogee. Okay, there's no more land. So you can't, unless you're going to live in Harris County, which a lot of people have done, or you're going over to Alabama or going north up on I-185 to Troup County or whatever's up there towards LaGrange. I guess LaGrange is the next area. But Muskogee, you've run out of land. So there's no more moving away. And these areas that some way, some shape or form, they're going to have to be reclaimed. Because in those neighborhoods that I was in yesterday, nobody with a brain in their head is going to let their family live in some of those dwellings. Okay, they're just not. They're falling in. They're overgrown. They're slums, and that's not the only place. I mean, if you go up some of the areas along Victory Drive, up around some of those areas that are just off the reservation over there, off of Benning Road and up in that area and stuff, pushing back over towards the reservation where the property line is at Fort Benning, you see homes that are boarded up and just, you wouldn't live there. I would live in a poncho hooch out in the woods before I would go in some of those houses. I mean, that's just how bad they are. And we were talking about whose job it is in the city of Columbus to go out and inspect these properties and hold the property owners accountable. Let's see, Tom Rogers is talking about a serious accident in Casita, Georgia at the caution light. Something about someone was killed. The state is going to put in a round. Oh, are you serious, Tom? They're going to put a roundabout in out there? Maybe I don't know. Have y'all considered about maybe electing Mayor Tomlinson out there in Chattahoochee County? She's pretty good with roundabouts. Anyway, what do y'all people think? I mean, we can talk about stuff till the cows come home, but if the people aren't out there in the community willing to stand up and take a stand on stuff.
Well, and I think, again, what we have to do is that it's, we have to sit, we can't sit here and wait. We can't sit here and say, okay, we're going to wait. And I think that one of the things indicative of the generation that we live in 2017 is a lot of us, and I've done it before, okay? But a lot of us are sitting around going like, okay, well, I'm going to wait for someone to do something. I guarantee you, okay, I don't know, I think we had last week, we had about 1,000 people that were watching us live last week. I guarantee you, if 500 of those people that were watching, and maybe I hope we have 1,000 watching this today, if 500 people called every council member, can you imagine that? or your commissioner or whatever. Can you? Let me tell you something. They would,
Now, how about 500 people show up to the next
at the
city
next
council meeting?
And there'd be people because we'd have to back them up out into the street. And I guarantee you all the news channels would be there, and they'd be covering that. They'd go, well, Mayor, Wire Council, this is very serious. Why all these people are showing up? But let me tell you something. People call them. Well, I call them cut their voicemail. Then leave them voice messages and get mad. Call up and someone and say, I want to know what you are doing about crime. Don't tell me what the police department or what this guy or that guy. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? What have you done other than show up for a paycheck at a council meeting and put in an expense report? What have you been doing? So that's one of the problems with our government here in Columbus. We have a part-time council, and I think that that's a detriment. We have a part-time council. We're the second largest city in the state of Georgia, and we have a part-time council. And those people all have a job. They all have and I'm not giving them an out. But I'm saying, they've got a career or a job, and they, being a counselor is a part-time job on that. So,
what about being mayor? Is that a full-time job or is that a part-time
job? That's a full-time position.
So if you're the mayor full-time, 7 days a week, and you're touted as the what is her title? She's always saying
public safety director.
She is the public safety director, which incorporates the...
Technically, it's over all the public fire department, police department. Okay. By the way, Valerie, what you do is you go to YouTube. Hey, Wes, you go to YouTube, and then on the search, you put The Valley Watch. The Valley Watch.
So what was her title again? The public safety
director.
Public safety director, which all law enforcement basically falls under her. Okay, so she is at the top. And let me ask you people something. You have a member of the Columbus Police Department that spends, it was either 41 years or 45 years, 41 or 45, an officer that was promoted to the rank of assistant chief, okay, and he just recently retired, I believe, last Friday.
Yep. And
the mayor could not seem to find the time or find her way over to this ceremony to congratulate him on his dedicated service to the city of Columbus.
Thank you, Lynn Miller. Thank you. God bless you for the 45 years that you put into
our
city.
20 years like some of us did in the military. Not 30 years like some other people that are just been hit their heads too many times, spent 30 years in the military. This man spent over 40 years in the police department, and the mayor of a town
didn't have time.
Couldn't get over there. Now, I noticed that the marshal got over there. The chief of police got over there.
Chief of police got there.
A
lot of officers got there.
Old chief of police.
Chief of the fire department was there.
The old chief and mayor of Columbus was there to recognize him.
But not the mayor.
But Teresa Tomlinson could not get over there to say two words.
We have senior police officers in the management in the police department right now that have actually come back, retired, and came back to help on that because we were and the situation. But Chief Miller, God bless you. I worked under him. He's a wonderful servant of this city, and we do appreciate you. And it's just absolutely shameful. I was told. Now I'm going to be careful and say this is hearsay.
I got to offer this before you say this, but the reason that I heard, now I don't know if this is true or not, but that the mayor was on the way over there and she got caught in one of her roundabouts and just, there was, I don't know what if she got lost or turned around or whatever, but she couldn't get out of the roundabout and she missed the ceremony. I don't know if that's true or not.
I was told, now I don't know if this is true, but I was told by a friend at Fort Benning that in the 8 years of administration that our mayor has been out in Fort Benning 5 times in 8 years. And one of those was to watch fireworks on that. And that every single time that Fort Benning has a command change, has a major ceremony out there, the mayor is invited. And most of the time, she doesn't even send a representative.
Well, you've got the Christmas parade coming up.
Oh, she's going to be there for that.
Christmas parade will be there.
Yeah,
I think the mayor will be there, and I think everybody should come out.
Well, the mayor
to the Christmas parade.
When she was on the TV show The Joy, she made it clear from District 5 up in Atlanta. She said, and Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, she said, "Oh, I'm from here, and my sister lives here, my parents live here. This is where I'm from." On that, she said not one word about Columbus.
I wonder if the people up in Atlanta
Maybe
voted
we should go
for,
up there
and
Go with them.
I don't know. But anyway, at the Christmas parade, if you go, whether you're on the Phoenix City side or the Columbus side, make sure you wave at the mayor and say, "Bye, Teresa. Goodbye."
Bye.
Lynn said she will attend as the Grinch.
Yeah, by the way, that was a very good point, Lynn. You know, and believe me, I don't have the exact figure, but I guarantee you that it's deplorable what our officers retire on. Their retirement check. It's just a joke. That's why most, probably 90% of our law enforcement officers have a part-time job or more. And you'll see. I think it's deplorable that you see a Columbus police officer work 6 days, and then on their 3 days off, he or she is out, and it says, Joe's plumbing service. Literally, I'm not making this up. Or Joe's air conditioner service, or yard service.
I didn't know you had a plumbing service.
I did on that. But if you, there you go. Juan says, if you saw it on Facebook, it must be true. But exactly, and this is the key: is we're trying to get. If we let these people, and this is what we're doing with this show and the watch. If we let people know, and I know this is going to sound self-serving what I'm going to say right now, but Eric, look at Eric's shirt. Move up so people can see it a little bit. Sit up with it. This is our shirt now for the watch.
I got to get back in the gym with maybe Eric Dempsey and make my chest bigger. But can you see
watch? We got these right now. We're selling these, and we're selling these not to make money for him or me or anybody else on that. To try to get some money, a little bit of money together, so we can expand this program. We can expand our activities in the community, and so. That's one thing you can do. You can help support the watch. I mean, you're supporting watch watching us, but
we're working on a banner that Stacy's going to pull around in the evenings on the back of.
Amen.
She's going to fly over Columbus and Phoenix City, and she's going to pull the banner. Stacy, we love you if you're out there listening.
Hey, Stacy.
But Stacy's probably asleep right now because she's part vampire and she's
trying to say it's the crime is just about 24 hours a day. She's trying to get a couple hours before it starts, because that's exactly it. But
wait, real quick. That's what I've heard, Lynn. That's what I heard that when they changed the
new system,
when they changed the insurance over or whatever, that police officers were having to pay more, and that they can't live on their salary and stuff.
They're paying over. I think right now something like 30 to 40% of their retirement check is going for their health care.
So that's got to affect the morale.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to affect the morale. And then when you don't have people supporting you, I mean, I can say truthfully, I've gone into drug houses and stuff. I've gone in after people and stuff where, you got to have good morale. If you're going to kick down a door and you're going to go into somebody's house or something and take down the bad guys, you want a bunch of people that have good morale and good, that they're feeling pretty good about themselves and stuff, instead of, having bad morale and people that just really don't give a hoot. But they don't feel appreciated.
We've got to ask ourselves realistic questions. I became a Columbus police officer on January 7th, 1985. Okay, and you know what? We were 117 officers short there. And wow! And this is 2017. And it's not the fault of the police department. The police department would love to have tons of officers, and believe me, that has nothing to do with the police department or the chief or any of those people. It has to do with our government. And I'm going to say it again, and I know they're probably really mad at me saying this, but it gets down to our council. The mayor does not even have a vote. Everybody thinks she does. The mayor does not vote unless it's a 5-5 even split tie. And that's it. 6-4 wins on that. Majority wins on that. She doesn't even get a vote. It's not the mayor's budget. It's the mayor's recommendation for budget. The mayor doesn't hire. It's the mayor's recommendation for hiring. The council does everything. The council votes, and the council can do anything. And they can allocate. One question I have, here's one out there for everybody out there. Do you remember, Eric, we had, 3 years ago, we had a lost LOSD, a local option sales tax? Y'all remember that?
I remember.
That we passed? Well, we passed it here. That was about 3 years ago.
I get confused about that stuff.
Well, you know what? 80% of that is supposed to go to public safety. 80%. And
what happened to it?
And by my calculations, going down there to the city accounting office, there's been something like $20-something million brought in on that. So if you take 80% of that, what's that going to be? $18 million somewhere around there. Where's that money? Show me the money. Where is that money being spent?
I don't know why this hasn't been brought up, or maybe it has, and maybe it was voted down. But I'll tell you what, if the city of Columbus is having a revenue problem, put about 15 or 20 police officers, motor squad, whatever you want to, put them out on Jarrah Island between the Alabama line and maybe down there, down towards Macon Road down there, Pratt Whitney or whatever. But that stretch of Jarrah Island that is basically a speedway in the morning, and then it tries to be a speedway in the evening. But you would make a killing if these people that are driving over 70 miles an hour, 80, 90, whatever. You would save lives. You would make money just on speeding tickets alone.
Eric,
just on speeding tickets alone.
You know what's pathetic? This is a facetious sounding thing, but it's absolutely true. What I'm saying, and this is what's pathetic too. This is the only thing more pathetic is her not coming to Lynn Miller's for time. But you know what? I always tell people, I am currently, I am a member of the largest law enforcement agency in the world. Really, I am. I'm a member of the largest law. You know what that is?
No.
The Ex-Columbus Police Officers Association. There's hundreds of thousands of us. We could march on Washington because we don't take care of our officers. And not us, but our city government does it. I got a question for you. By the way, thank you. Tom Rogers just said the special thanks someone put out there to everybody. Tom's saying thank you for vending first responders and medvac chopper. Apparently assisted in a traffic accident in Casita in Chattahoochee County on Monday. By the way, did everybody know I'm a former Chattahoochee County deputy sheriff? That's right. I was deputy sheriff of Chattahoochee County. They go, that's where we got him from. I gave out a few tickets up on 520. And then more. But anyway, getting back, you're wanting all your listeners to get a ticket, Eric. Let's laugh. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Just those who.
Valerie, just the ones that are breaking the sound barrier. The ones breaking the sound barrier. The ones that come flying up on your tail.
And you know what I can't say about those ones too? That you see them, they're coming up, going, speeding 25 miles an hour, and they're speeding to get to a red light.
Yeah.
And I go, what's the deal? But I want to tell you something too. What we're talking about too is that if we've got to just get, this is a serious time, and we got to get serious about it. And I think that one thing that bothers me too, Eric and Pat, is that I'm going to tell you what the law is. The law is our school district is a separate agency of the city of Columbus. And they are legally, they have nothing to do with each other. They are on separate budgets. But guess what? I'm going to tell you something that's going to surprise people. Do you know who's the largest employer in Minnesota County? Obvious. No. Who's the largest? Obvious. Fort Benning, Georgia is, okay? Military. Who's the second largest? Hit it, Pat. Muscogee County School District. Okay? The school district's budget, the city's budget is dwarfed compared to the school district budget. The school district has 33,000 plus kids, over 6,000 employees in it. And you know what? And we've got to recognize that our agencies, our police department, our city government, our law enforcement agencies, are going to have, and the school district are going to have to work together to recognize we have some issues on that. You know what I was told? And if they give me a hard time, I'll say who told me on this. I was told by a school board and a city councilor at one time. I said, why? I said, I noticed that, a school board. I said, why do you all not have metal detectors for the school board meeting? And you know what the answer was? Because if we do, it would mean that we actually need them. Hush. Speaking of distracted driving,
well, the last meeting that I saw, they need to issue some boxing gloves for them school board members because they'd be sparring in there
Now I believe that Valerie, your question is on can you talk on your cell phone? No, you're not supposed to be talking on the cell phone in the state of Georgia when you're driving. No, on that. That's considered distracted driving. On that, you're not supposed to be doing anything other than driving. On that, James says they won't sit up on Jarrah Island. They'd rather sit in intersections and write distracted drivers tickets. Well, I gotta say this now. James, and I'm there with you, and I'm on the citizen side too. But I'm going to go back and show everybody how old I am. Okay, all right, but you'll remember this because you're even older than I am on that.
Yeah, but I make it look good.
On that, but he looks a lot better on that. Remember Beretta? The show Beretta on that on that on that.
Yeah.
On that. What was the famous line? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And if you're speeding, you're speeding. I used to love it when I pull somebody over as a police officer, and I would always set my radar 12 miles an hour over the speed limit. So if it was 55, I'd have it on on 67. So in other words, if I stopped you, you were there's no doubt about it, you were speeding.
Tom wants to know if you sip soda or coffee, you can get distracted drivers tickets in Georgia.
You can. There's a big thing in law enforcement we called discretion, and that's one of the hardest things to teach young officers, and older officers forget it. And that is using discretion. If we ticketed everybody in the state of Georgia that violates the law on the roads, nobody would be driving on that. So there is some on that. So
I have to say I second what this person just said. I have seen so many officers talking on their phones while writing others tickets for the same thing.
I will say this, and I'm not defending the officers, but actually the officers tell their cell phones are a secondary communication device where they talk.
I think they're allowed to do it.
They're allowed to do it by the state of Georgia on that. Because
I'm not saying it's smart, but
I'm not saying it's smart either, but they are allowed to because there is a need for that because there are some times that they want to be able to speak among each other and it be completely nothing that's going out over the radio. Yeah. So I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that is. Dennis Andrews. Hey Dennis, how you doing, man? He's a great guy on that. But getting back to what we're talking about is that the bottom line is this. I used to pull people when I pull somebody over, and let's say they were going 20 miles over the speed limit. They would get mad at me. And they'd go, "How about what about that guy right there that was just went by?" I said, and I'd say, you know what? If I had the ability, I'd get that guy too or that woman too. But right now I got you, unfortunately for you, and there's only one of me on that. But I always tell people, hey, and I'm not making a negative statement. I just want to make sure everybody understands something. In the state of Georgia, you have no right to drive on the road. It's not any state or federal constitutional right to drive. It is a privilege extended to you by the state of Georgia, by the people of the state of Georgia, and you have to have a Georgia driver's license, which is the property of the state of Georgia. It is not yours. A law enforcement officer may say, I want to see it. They can take it on that. Judge can take it. It is the property. It is issued to you by the state of Georgia. And now, private property, knock yourself out. Believe it or not, even in private property, you can be charged with DUI and reckless driving on that, or handicap on private property. But other than that, private property, knock yourself out. Go out if you want to go speeding around out in the field somewhere, and not as long as it's not reckless and it's not you're not drunk and you're not endangering anybody's life. Knock yourself out.
Tom says 1021.
1021. 1021. What is 1021? 1020 is your location. 1021. You remember, Eric? It's been a while.
Well, the codes are different in Georgia than in
we got in Columbus. 1020 is your location. Sorry, Tom. I'll have to look that one.
If it's Alabama, I want to say a 1021 is a telephone call.
Is that a telephone? 1021.
If I remember right.
They didn't have cell phones when I was in.
But it's been a while since I had to speak in code and stuff. And, if I don't use it, I dump it. So I can't remember exactly what 1021 is.
Yeah, because you have to get used to hearing that stuff like that.
Yes, I back the blue 100%. This is from Lisa.
So, by the way, we have some Back the Blue bracelets now.
Yes, we do.
Here at the ministry, and we have
hats, T-shirts,
and we have the Back the Blue T-shirts. And Miss Pat, you want to throw that over here at all?
Got the Guardians of the Blue T-shirts.
Yeah, and I want to show everybody this is Back the Blue. Kind of hard to see, but it's I guess you put it in front of your camera, Pat, probably closer on that. That's a Back the Blue bracelet. It goes on even on my little fat wrist that go on there. But we've got. And this is, again, solely to support Back the Blue. We're getting ready in November. We're going to be having the big dinner for all public safety, and including Fort Benning, including our sister counties in Alabama and north and south of us on that, where Back the Blue is going to feed, provide a meal, a good meal for every single, and retirees, their families, everything. And one of the ways we're doing right now is these Back the Blue bracelets. I can't speak. Back the Blue bracelets. How much are they? $5.
$5.
$5, and that goes 100% to support Back to Blue on that.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to throw one over there. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. If you'll call in, the first 5 people that will call in, 706-940-0541.
This is what it looks like.
706-940-0541. 940-0541, 706. First 5 people to call, I'll give you one of those.
Yeah.
You'll get one of those right there.
But Tom, if you call in, we're not driving out to
I'm
casino.
not gonna. I can't come out to casino on that. But
Unless
we
we're coming out for Ranger Burgers, we will not be out in casino.
All right, and guess what? You can now go to Chaplain Paul Voorhees Ministry, on eBay, and all this stuff is on eBay. You can buy this on eBay, and you don't even have to leave your house, and we'll ship it to you.
We do not have the bracelet
On yet. Well,
or the pins on.
All right, the pins. What, do we have some pins too?
We do.
I didn't know we had some pins. What kind of pins do we have?
Pins that you put on your
okay,
shirt.
Cool. Eric, hey, Peggy, how you doing?
So, Joe, give me a minute. I wanted to talk about some stuff.
Now, Eric talking about some
Yes,
stuff.
I'm talking about stuff.
Let's hear it.
Well, you know, and I guess I'm kind of leaning towards the Alabama side, but folks,
Let's leave. We're going.
yeah. Well, actually, we'd have to lean that way, but anyway, just all right over in the Alabama side. You know, we've got people running for Senate, and you know, I've noticed that there has been a leaning of the media towards one candidate from the very beginning, and he didn't win the runoff.
Welcome, Seth Hart.
And now we have the candidate that won the runoff, and he's running against the Democrat, and the media is still leaning against him. My question being is, okay, we know the media takes a side, whether they claim to or not. Okay, you've seen it in the presidential elections. You've seen it in some of the senatorial elections. You see how the media goes after people. But what about our local elected officials? Why are they not taking a public stance on who they're supporting? And why, as the people, us, the citizens, why are we not asking our congressional members, our state representatives, our state elected officials, where they stand on some of these candidates? Why are we not asking them, and why are they not putting out a public stance on where they support? Are they trying to fly under the radar? Okay, so I'm asking you to kind of ask some questions. You know, where does your mayor stand on some of these, on both sides of the river? You know, the Senate candidates, the congressional candidates. We've got elections coming up next year. Where do some of these people stand, and who are they supporting? And I don't care if you're in Auburn or if you're in Russell County and Lee County or whatever. Where do your, you know, going back and talking about Alabama again, where's your state representative or your state elected person representing you down in Montgomery? Where does he stand? Where does he stand?
Do you even know who your representative is?
Yeah. Do you know who you represent? I mean, for years.
I'm not getting on about that. I mean, that's just common on all of us. You know,
and why do we not have more access to these state, you know, on both sides of the river? Why do you not have more access? You know, I've tried to call down to Montgomery a couple times and talk to my representative in Montgomery. You can't get them on the phone because it's not like Washington, D.C. They don't have staffs and people answering the phones and calling you.
It's fine then, Tom.
You're lucky if you can get through to anybody and find out what their position is. And there's no place, you know, what do you have to do? Like search the internet for their position?
You know, Eric, you know what's really interesting? Is, you know what, I'll tell you what, maybe even on the next show, next Wednesday, why don't we get some numbers and we'll call some of these people on the air?
If we can get through to them. Well, I've tried.
We'll certainly leave a message, won't we?
But, you know, I'd like to talk to Senator, I think it's Senator or Representative Tom Watley over there, if he's still pushing his bill for no more concealed carry permits in the state of Alabama, if that's going to come around again. You know, I'd like to talk to, say, Representative Chris Blackshear and find out if he's supporting Senator Moore for his run for the Senate. You know, I just think that we need more access to our elected officials. Congressman Rogers, I can't remember the last time that Congressman Rogers was down here in the East Alabama area around Lee County, Auburn, Russell County doing some kind of a speaking engagement.
I'll tell you one thing that I'm hoping for, running up for Senate, Randy Robertson is running, and Randy is, of course, retired from the Sheriff's Department, and president of the FOP. And
so I would have to say that he'd have a strong law enforcement stance.
Go, Randy. Yes, we're for Randy. Go, because I think he'll say put that word out of what needs to be getting up there. Talk about pro law enforcement and his lovely wife, Teresa Garcia Robinson, on that.
So Lisa, are we coming in? Are you hearing us pretty good up there in the Valley area? Are we transmitting good up that way?
I hope so. We're looking good on that. And but again, it's so funny that elected officials. That, believe me, we just need to remember they are elected officials, and we elect them, and we can take that away from them. And we need to united we stand. We have that. Yep. Thank you, Lisa. And Valerie says the office of Congressman Mike D. Rogers was very helpful to me last time she had an issue.
Let's say a word about the Valley Lynette area up there. I mean, they just had a situation up there a couple days ago where somebody came out of a club and opened fired. All kinds of people were shot, and there was very little coverage about it.
Club addiction.
I know people that live up in the area, and they said I've never even heard of that club. So basically, what we're talking about is a little cinder block building. It looks to me like a little hole in the wall type place where alcohol is served, and maybe the people up in Lynette in the Valley area need to talk to their elected officials about having that place closed down if it's a shooting gallery.
I've got 2 words.
Fire
sale.
2 people are dead. Multiple people were taken to the hospital. Some people were life flighted to other hospitals. I don't know if that was life flighted to Atlanta or over here to Columbus to the medical center or where they were taken. But there was a bunch of, and as far as I've heard from the media and stuff, there's no suspects, no information on why the shooting took place. There's nothing. I mean, it's just like the shooting the other night over here off 41st Street. We get nothing. We don't know the who, what, when, and why.
Yeah, Lisa said that was just a mile from her house. Boy, Dana, that's a good point you made. You don't hear.
So, we're I don't know. I just don't understand. It seems like our media, a majority of the news we get are nothing but press releases from the law enforcement. Yes, someone was shot in Valley.
Somebody somewhere that looked a certain way did something in a certain area.
We've got,
but you know what though, Eric,
videotape
But Eric, I'm telling you,
we still don't know.
Now this is Joe's opinion. What I'm saying right now. But in my opinion, the law enforcement people that put that out, that's not their call. They're being told by administration people that that's what they're supposed to say, and they've got to do that. They're like soldiers. They work. They do what they're told. They're supposed to do what they're told. I understand that. So I don't think. I think that, and I'm not saying in all the cases, but I think in the majority of the cases that they're being muzzled by the upper side. Larry says, we get more from Facebook than local news. It's the truth. I know people right now in government. I know people that work in intelligence aspects where they're monitoring, and they tell me, oh gosh, you know what? Our most valuable source is Facebook. I go, well, really?
Most of us that are associated with these pages, we're not running for office. We're not getting paid. We have no political agenda, really.
Yeah,
we just want the real deal.
And
that's why these groups are popular. That's why people come to them. That's why we're pushing 17,000+ people now, because people know that somebody knows something out there. There was something the other night over in Smith Station where a young man was hurt during a football game. And somebody asked the question, why were all the ambulances going to the Smith Station Sports Complex? And today I read, we got the reason. Because a young man broke his leg, or broke his arm or his leg during a game, and they went over there to take care of that young man. So you got an answer to the question. Last night, I'm still trying to find out about a chase last night that was taking place in Lee County that went down and supposedly went back through Phoenix City, and I guess they called it because they didn't really have a really bad, serious charge on them that they could really articulate. So the officer made the decision at the state line to terminate the pursuit for safety reasons or whatever. But that was going on about I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when there's not a whole lot of people on
Hey, so
Facebook.
Tom says, what do you think about Columbus wanting to get Georgia to allow casinos so they can get one in Columbus? They're definitely trying to do that. There's no doubt about it.
You got a moral question there, Tom. On the one hand, you would have something that would bring some jobs to people. I don't know how many jobs, how much employment, how much revenue for the city. But on the other hand, you have a casino where you have people trying to say, oh, my chance to get rich quick. Let me spend this money that I don't have to begin with on pie in the sky and taking a chance. It's gambling, okay? It's not a sure thing. It's not like you're investing your money. It's gambling. And let me tell you, casinos wouldn't be popular and people wouldn't start casinos if they didn't make money off of you. In other words, they're going to fleece you out of your money one way or another.
Lisa said it's just going to bring more crime.
I can tell you one thing. I have personally spoke with some people at Fort Benning, not the commanding general, but some people that on the staff out there, and I can tell you the military is not in favor of it. Fort Benning is not in favor of it, and they made very clearly said we are not in favor of having a casino opening up in Columbus so that our soldiers can come, our young soldiers can come off base when they get their paycheck and get fleeced, because you know what there's no doubt about it. Casinos make $1 billion trillion, but it's usually for the people that own them. And I don't think that there's let's say we got casinos, lottery like PC in the 50s. What's the difference? I guess.
Well, I can tell you a big difference. The Georgia lottery is not floating bodies down the Chattahoochee River. That's one difference.
That is a little bit.
But yeah, you do have a lot of people spending money that they probably should be saving. I have been guilty of spending a few dollars, on the lottery, taking a chance. But but I don't spend my kids' lunch money. I don't spend the money that I'm going to spend that week, or whatever for the groceries or the gasoline or my heating oil or whatever. I'm not throwing that money away.
James said people will spend what they want to spend. And that's true because, there's some people that just go and they pull that handle down or they push that button in a casino and they're hooked.
Well, and I can tell you my thought on that. You know what? If you want to do that, get in the car and drive over to Montgomery. They've got a casino over there. You can drive down to Florida. They've got some casinos down there. That's fine. We don't need that. We've got enough problems right now. And by the way, there have been very good ideas brought to the council and the development commission. By the way, I don't know what the heck they do over there. They get $100,000 salaries. I don't know what the heck they do. But they for years there's been people that have come up and stuff that said this would affect Alabama, it would affect Russell Lee, Chattahoochee County, Muskogee County, Harris County. There's been for years people have said that NASCAR has been, the big NASCAR track is in Atlanta, and NASCAR has been wanting to build another big NASCAR track between Atlanta and Florida, and it has been suggested that this would be a good area for that. And the revenue that comes in from a year-round NASCAR track is unbelievable. It's in the billions of dollars.
They do have the track over in Phoenix City.
East Alabama Motor Speedway. That could be that could be the hub.
Hey,
it could be the embryo.
Hey, I don't know how they build a big track out there because there's a lot of wetlands out there in that
Chattahoochee
area.
County. That's what
I'm not making fun of the speedway out in Phoenix City. I'm
being serious.
A lot of people love to go out there and watch my kids love to go out there and watch the cars go round and round and round and watch them slide around on the dirt tracks and stuff. And if that's your thing, that's fine. I'm not making fun of it. I just don't get, like dog racing or anything that goes around in a circle. It's just not very interesting to me. But if that's your thing, go for it. I hear them out there. I see the lights, Friday nights, Saturday nights and stuff on the weekends when they have the big races. And I think it does bring a lot of money to Russell County. There's a lot of people that go out there and come out there to have a good time.
Wanda's It says my ex-husband's boss couldn't pay his employees, but could spend thousands a week on lottery scratch-offs. Even said he would try to win money to pay them. His addiction.
Well, it sounds to me like maybe his business didn't, probably went under or whatever. I don't see how you can't pay your employees. Anyway, I don't know.
But the thing that getting back just a second back, something we were talking about earlier. We don't got a lot of time here.
Yeah, we don't. We're going to get Facebook kicked.
That's right. On back on crime, is it? I think the issue too is again what we're saying is that we need your voice out there to be put together with our voice and the voices of the community. Just to support our law enforcement, support our public safety people, but to let our government officials know that they will be held accountable, and that that if they can't do it, quit. If it's too hot in the kitchen, resign. Yeah. And you know what? And hey, I hate the idea, but if we've got to call the governor of Georgia, we got to call the governor of Alabama. What have we got to call? Someone said we need National Guard, we need GBI, we need extra state troopers, we need whatever. Then that's what we might have to do.
Well, about a year or two ago, I was talking to someone else from CPD. The Bibb City area was targeted, and they went in and they kept going in, they kept going in, they kept going in, and from my understanding, they did a big cleanup job in the Bibb City area with the drug dealers and the drugs and some of the drug houses over in there. I guess I don't know how hard it is. I don't know what the resources are, but maybe some of these other areas need to be targeted, and they need to start focusing on area by area and going after this stuff. But real quick in the last...
And one last thing on that, too. And I think, and here comes a little bit of political incorrectness, okay? But, the truth is the truth. I think that we have these neighborhoods we're talking about. We have crime all over Columbus. We know where the gangs are. We know where the crack houses are. And you know what? There are community leaders, and you know who I'm talking about. You know who they are, that should be standing up and saying, why have there been 35 murders? What is going on with this? What is going on in these communities? But they're not, because people are going, be quiet. We can't say anything that will offend anybody. Well, you know what? I think they'd rather be offended than dead. Yeah. And I'm talking about victims out there, people's children and grandchildren dying in the streets. So, I think that people need to step up and say, hey, on some things, community leaders they're very vocal about it when it comes to something that might affect them or the groups or that they represent or that they're associated with. But this kind of when it's something like this, we have to hide it, and time to open up and look at ways. It's not pretty. Let's look at them, but let's get rid of it. Let's bring the war on crime to them.
Let's keep speaking out, whether it be on this page, another page,
any page,
whatever page.
Your telephone.
Keep making those comments.
You're voting.
Don't let anybody try and shame you into being quiet about what you believe. Okay, I don't care if it's anything from people kneeling at football games to saluting the American flag. You know what's right. You know what you were taught. You know what you were taught to do. All right. There's ways to protest. I'm not going to get into the NFL thing. They're paying for their stupidity. Okay, the NFL is losing revenue. They're losing revenue from advertising. They're losing revenue from people in the stands, from the food sales, from beer sales and everything. You can look at the stands on some of these games that people are not going. So the players want to keep playing that. That's fine. They have a constitutional right to do whatever they want to do. Fine. I have a constitutional right to keep my money in my wallet, and that's where it's going to stay until they respect my fellow veterans and stuff, and they respect that flag. Keep speaking out. There's one more thing you can do for me, okay? Well, actually, there's a bunch of stuff you can do for me, but I don't think I'm going to get any ladies to come over and do my laundry or clean my house. But anyway, that's just a joke. Keep speaking out.
Keep talking about that.
Keep adding people to the page.
A little bit more.
Oh, Joe, you got to be any closer to the camera. I'm going to go through it. Anyway.
Keep talking for just a second.
So, now I've scooted up 3 times. I can't even remember what I was going to say. Keep adding people to the page, okay? We say this, and I think a lot of people either see it and they just say, oh, okay, I'll do it one of these days. what we need to be just 10 times better than we are right now. We need everyone to sit down when you have a free minute in the evening, in the morning, at lunchtime, or whatever, when you're at your computer, and go through your Facebook friends and say, hey, I've got 5 good friends that think like I do, or that are good law-abiding people that go to church, and whether they're good law-abiding people and they don't go to church. Okay, that going to church has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying, good people with good character that don't commit crimes, and add them to the page. Tell them, if you tell them about the page at work, tell them to add their folks, their friends, their family, the people that they know. And we'll continue to grow this page and continue to give people a voice. And let the people that are out there that post the comments about, oh, you're a bunch of jokes and you're a bunch of this, you're a bunch of that. I could care less, okay? I could care less because I'm not slowing down for anybody, all right? We're going to have to get a bigger building joke. That's all there is to it. I've had people get upset. I've had people stalk my Facebook page. I've had people try and say nasty stuff about me, and it ain't slowing me down a bit. And that's what I'm saying. Put on your thin skin, put on your raincoat, let the rain run off your back, let them have their little say or whatever. But we need to continue working. We need to continue sharing information, okay? For no other reason is if you want to know what's really going on around you, your fellow citizens out there are your best source of information, okay? And you say, well, I don't know about all what you're saying, I don't understand. Well, look, every time you turn around, one of these media TV stations wants you to add their app to your phone, because they get it, right? But when you come on Facebook, we're not charging you 99 cents a month or 99 cents a year or $2 or whatever it is. The app, it's free. You just join and you contribute, okay? You don't have to join the media for your free weather report or something. All you have to do is come, and people from around the area will tell you that stuff for free.
Absolutely. So we're about out of time. We're going to be back next Wednesday again at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, sounds good.
Get in touch with us. You can call 706-940-0541, or you can go to the Watch, or you can go to Eric's homepage or my homepage.
You can shoot us a private message if you have something you want to talk about.
If you want a shirt or you want a bracelet, something like that. But that's what Eric, thank you. Thank you for all of our listeners out there. Thank you, Miss Pat. We're going to close out now. And with something appropriate that we don't hear enough of here in the good old USA.
I just wanted to let you know real quick. James said, I'm a veteran and kneeling during the national anthem does not offend me. We fought for the right to peaceful protest, so can't get offended when people actually do just that.
Amen. This is for you, James. There we go. All right.
Uh-oh. You know what we got to do now, right?
We got to stand.
We got to stand up. Because, James, I'm not kneeling. Take us out.
Miss Pat, take us out. God
Play
bless
ball.
You. God bless America. We'll see you next week. Miss Pat, take us out. Thank you, everybody in the YouTube land. There we are.
We are out.